So this is the RF reading. In front of my computer. I'm sitting in front of my computer. That's the computer right there. And look at the RF reading. My skin is burning, the left arm. It went up, the RF reading went up over 100 before I started. So I'm going to take my blood pressure reading. So I'm going to flip this camera. Bear with me here. There. So notice that RF reading. So I'm taking my blood pressure. So let's see. With the RF reading increased, and I'm in patient when it went up to over 100, the RF reading. So it's 120 over 81, 79 heart rate in a sitting position. So I'm going to take it again. So I heard somebody registered me in with something new, and I was brought back up with it. Notice that RF reading? 702, 350, 678, 831. So I'm in pain, 124 over 77. There's a reflection of your pain, of the pain right there. So the last one was 120 over 88. So I just got 124 over 77. And I'm getting heart palpitations. Huge numbers when it goes up to 700, those huge numbers. I immediately get heart palpitations, immediately. So I heard outside that the shift was changed. So somebody new is on the shift. So as PK, one of the pimps who's running this program, said in his harassing message that he left and harassing calls, people are looking. Well, people are looking and torturing as well. So there's a drop to 116 over 77. So we had 124 to 116. So that sudden drop in blood pressure is an indication of a heart palpitation. I'll take it one more time. Now, if you look at my last video that I posted in my bedroom, you will see a huge difference in the readings. Now, I'm around computers, I'm around electrical outlets, I'm around wires, live wires. And the EF reading is 1112, quite low. The RF reading is very, very high. Well, it fluctuates to very, very high numbers and comes back down. So here is the number, my blood pressure reading, 124/64. So I just had a heart palpitation, a couple of them actually. So when I started over 77, 116/77, now it's 129/64. So notice the EF reading. Notice the EF reading, 13. And the cell phone is next to it. The cell phone is next to it. Notice the EF reading, it's 17. I'm going to touch the cell phone. So the cell phone is touching and the EF reading is 51. 2. So that's this number right here. So I'm going to take the cell phone away and I'm going to put my hand next to the detector. Notice the readings. The EF reading, 18,000, 17,000, sorry, 1,800, 1,900 plus, 1,400 plus, 1,700 plus. Take the hand away, all the way down to 2. Even though I'm around wires, I'm around all sorts of wires here. There's wires, the computer wires. There is the computer. There's an outlet behind me. And the EF reading is 6, 4, pulsing through some numbers. Now I'm going to put my hand close to the detector. And I'm going to bring my hand in. So this spot right here in front of my computer is tagged. I'm tagged when I am sitting in this spot. My body is tagged at a very, very high power level when I'm sitting in this spot. That makes me very, very uncomfortable. And the reason for that is to discourage me from tweeting, discourage me from working on the computer, which means that I don't get to read the news. I don't get to research my stocks. I don't get to look for jobs and so on. So anything constructive and anything progressive and anything that that's constructive. These numbers that causes heart palpitations, burning skin, pain, and all types of locations and all sorts of locations in your body. It's meant to discourage you from using the computer. The power is extremely high. Again, let me do that one more time. Here is a cell phone. Here is the reading without my body touching, the hand touching. The computer is nearby. It's 3 inches away. There is a computer. There's a computer. That's the computer. All right, so there's a computer. There is a cell phone, 1 inch away. There is the reading, the EF reading. So now I'm going to put my hand on the detector and look at the electrical readings. So my hand is tagged. My body is tagged, but each spot on my body is tagged at a different power level. Just like my unit is tagged in certain spots, There are hot spots in my unit that's tagged at a certain level, power level. My body is tagged in different areas at different power levels. My hand is tagged. The left side of my body is tagged at a very high level. Because I get more pain on the left side. So I'm going to take my blood pressure reading. I heard a comment that a worker's son joined me. I heard a comment outside. There's a lot of people around the building, you know, who's working on the building. So I'm not sure which worker, if it's a worker in the building, if it's a worker just anywhere, just a worker, referring to a past workplace, I don't know. 117/87. So from 129/64, it went to 117/87. So I'm going to do that again. So my body is about 6 inches away from the detector. That's the edge of the table. That's me leaning in. So if this happens when I'm sleeping and my heart goes into arrhythmia, I get a heart attack and I will die in my sleep. I will not wake up to call 911 if somebody. I would not wake up to tell the person that I'm in distress. And the person, even if, for example, the person was lying beside me, that person would not know that I'm in distress. I would just die. My heart would just stop. So 131/85. And the skin on my is burning, the elbow, the inside of the elbow, which is a favorite spot to tag. So I'm going to do the blood pressure one more time. Now, I heard somebody said I was mentally retarded. Do you think somebody who is mentally retarded could do research like this? Obviously not, right? Do you think somebody mentally retarded would do enough research to be able to get a microwave detector and a blood pressure monitor and monitor herself like this to make sure that she's not killed off, basically? So there are two things that I heard is being reported about me. I'm suicidal, which obviously I'm not, or else I wouldn't be doing this research. And I'm mentally retarded, which obviously I'm not, because if I was, I would not be able to do the research and understand it enough to do these experiments to figure out what's going on. So lies, they're lies. 116/88. So let me recap that. So I started at 6:15. 124/77, 116/77, 129/64, 117/87, 131/85, and 116/88. The heart rate seemed to be fairly consistent. with about a 3-point or 4-point variation range in blood pressure readings. Obviously, no activity because I'm being sitting to do this on camera. So no activity associated with it. I was lying down before this. I was in bed. So I'm just going to stop there. So again, Omar Rampersad, 6:29 p.m., March 13, 2020.